Ok, vamos a empezar. Por favor. Primero que nada, quiero que el señor J-Tips realmente sienta el amor que tiene la comunidad mexicana por él. Por favor, un aplauso.
Thank you for having me. My first time in Mexico City. I'm happy to be here.
¿Toman ese pedo? ¡Te amo! Jay, please, does the energy feel different now that you see what people feel about you?
Yeah, this is amazing. This is the best event I've ever been to. This is a lot of love, a lot of support. I appreciate it. This is amazing. I'm happy to be here.
Ok, como, bueno, ustedes ya traen el chícharo y nos vamos a ir tendidos porque no tenemos toda la hora para platicar. Jay, I have to divide this interview in two topics, especially. One, because people from the cap community are not gonna, we have to talk about caps first, and then sneakers. But first, let's talk about caps. Where did Savior start and come from?
To me, it's funny you ask that question, because I was wondering if people knew me more for hats or they knew me for shoes here.
It's gonna be half and half.
Like half and half, you know me more for hats or shoes, that's still amazing. So, but me, growing up in the Bronx, I always called myself the Uptown Savior. So when I was putting out some music and I was trying to promote the music, I was like, I should really go back to being the Uptown Savior. And that's when I started putting Savior on Yankee caps and on buttons and shirts, and to be honest, it just started blowing up, and you know, I've been able to change the game.
Definitely. There's a lot of hustlers out here that also do that same thing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't get the chances. Big companies don't always give you a chance to the, you know, small designers.
Yeah.
How did you get your foot inside the door?
To me, is you have to do the work until like the big stores and stuff really notice what you're doing. I was going to, I don't know if they have lids out here in Mexico, but I was going to lids. I was putting my logo on the hats, and I was making so much noise on the internet that's when like I had a meeting with Hat Club, and Hat Club was like, we can make hats with you, but you can't put your logo on it. And I was like, you know what? I could be the first person that blew up with his logo on the hat, and for different colors and stuff that nobody's ever seen. To me, I'm blessed to be able to create in a way that nobody can stop me with my own logo and embroidery and through like colorways and stores.
Vamos a seguir. ¿Listos? Jay. Le estaba diciendo a Jay que no todos tenemos esa oportunidad de empezar a crear con compañías grandes, güey. A veces, sometimes big companies, they'll you know, just give you a thumbs up, but they'll never write you a check. Yeah. Or they'll never say, okay, let's start making things happen.
Yeah.
So, what would be the first step to get your foot inside the door? Would be hustle until you can't be denied. Okay, a ver, hagan algo de ruido para el Jay.
So me, my advice, I mean, I don't know if you want to ask the question again, but my advice when you get into this business, you gotta ask yourself the question of, are you doing it because you're trying to get your name out there, or are you doing it for money? And I think there has to be a good balance, because sometimes every opportunity doesn't come with a dollar sign on it. But some opportunities can set you up to make money later in life, you know what I'm saying? But to me, I think being an underground king, you can't be on top of the world unless you start on the underground. Like me, I was making my own hats. I was buying hats at conventions, buying hats at stores, and I had to take over that lane before I even had an opportunity to get to the next one.
Okay, let's go then. First steps. Yeah. When that check came, what was the first thing on your mind?
Pay the rent. I started making hats during the pandemic, so at that time it wasn't like that easy to go outside and hustle and go make money a lot of different places. So when I started like making, the first time I would make money off the hats is if I did like a collaboration with a store, I would ask them like, if you're gonna order 36 hats, let me buy 18 of them, and I would maybe charge a little bit more money, and I would make my money that way. So to me, is you have to find a hustle in everything. Whether it's you're selling a few hats, or maybe they give you a free hat, a few hats, and you sell those, and that's how you make your money. But you got to figure out the hustle and everything.
What's the importance of the use of colors? Because I mean, colors are everything for J10.
Yeah. To me, the importance of my use of colors is because I feel like clothes are an expression. Like you wear, growing up, you would wear your white sneakers when you was gonna have a good day, like the first day of school, or it's a very special occasion. So to me, it's like what I use colors for is I don't think you'll put on a pink shirt or a colorful shirt if you want to have a bad day, or if you was a bad person. So it's like, I want to speak energy through colors, and I feel like if you wear a pink hat, a purple hat, a yellow shirt, a pink shirt, like you put good energy out there.
Okay, we got the colors down. Now, for your first collaboration, what did you learn in the cap game that you took directly to the sneaker game?
How much people actually are like, because a lot of people have a lot of followers. Some people have 1 million followers, but that don't mean you have 1 million customers.
Yeah.
So to me, my first hat that I did with Hat Club, they only ordered 72 hats. I had 18,000 raffles. So the one thing that I learned is maybe we didn't order enough. So that was the first thing that I did was, if we're gonna do hats again, let's order some more. So just learning your audience. Like some brands, like you learn your audience from doing pre-orders or doing like a poll on your story, or like sometimes just making a website. You see how many people visit your website. You think like, if 100 people visit my website today, maybe I could sell more than 2-3 shirts. So let me figure that out.
Okay, for the next step, you already had the cap game unlocked.
Yeah.
How and when did you start creating shoes?
To me, I was so deep into the hat game that when someone called me and was like, Saucony wanted to talk to you, I thought Saucony wanted me to make them a hat. I thought, like at that time, I had collaborated with Mountain Dew. We were doing a lot of caps for a lot of different places. So I got in a meeting with them, and they were like, we love how you create energy. We feel like what you do in the hat game looks like the sneaker game, and we want somebody that can have energy and kids lining up and people taking pictures and going viral. So if you're ever interested in trying to design a shoe, we would love that. But little did people know that I got into hats because I love shoes. So to me, it was a full circle moment. I just think just being consistent in the hat game and dropping so many different hats, people's always watching, and that's my advice to any like small creative or anybody that's trying to make their brand. Somebody's watching. Even if you're not making a lot of sales or a lot of money, somebody's paying attention. And eventually I knew, and I would tell my friends all the time, somebody's gonna call one day, and that was Saucony.
Damn. Yeah. Okay, that's the full circle moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you walk us through your whole creative process? Because once you come out with a hat or a shoe, there's always a line, there's always a story behind it. Yeah. Could you take us through that?
To me, my creative process is always I want to design things that mean something to me. Whether it's my mom's food, whether it's my favorite cartoon, whether it's my favorite cereal, whether it's a T-shirt that I used to wear every day to school. What means something to me, and how do you figure out how to design in a way that you can sell to other people? I feel like one of the most important things that you need to learn as a designer is how do you sell to someone else? So to me, my process always starts with what's something that means something to me, and what's something that I can do that's gonna drive other people's attention. Because I may have the greatest idea in the world, but if I use it on something that no one cares about, then they're not going to care about it.
Okay, being a man that has so many hats, you're an MC, you're a designer for caps, for shoes. Is there such a thing as over-creating? Do you ever feel like, if I start hustling real hard in caps, maybe some other thing with the shoes won't go through, or vice versa?
I feel like there is a time where you start to feel like I would love to do something else. But I think at that point you just gotta start designing with intention. Like I think you have to start designing in ways that make sense to you. Like, you know, many people that follow my journey, like I was designing for different stores, now I design my own hat. And the thing about designing my own hat is I can wake up and do 800 colorways tomorrow, but that doesn't make sense. And like, how do you tell 800 stories? So it's, to me, I think when you start to get to a point where it's like, it's a lot, you gotta really make things for real like specific reasons. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like things that really mean something to you. Like even if you get opportunities to design for companies and stuff, maybe you don't want to design 3 hats. Maybe your best idea is one. Like, so, and then you can promote that one thing and be great at that one thing.
Okay, focus. That's it, you know? Hone in on one small thing and then complete a universe.
100%.
Through that. Okay. People might not know that. Okay, we're gonna leave a little bit of the hats behind, but people don't know that Jay Tips is a real sneakerhead, and I mean real sneakerhead. Get in line real early, try to make some drops. Does that knowledge of the sneaker world give you an advantage over other people that also design sneakers?
I think so. I think that there's something about me that feels different. And I know I'm talking about myself, so it sounds like I have a really big ego, but I think that I grew up lining up in stores and working at Foot Locker and doing conventions and reselling shoes. So I feel like I'm somebody in the sneaker industry that's just like everybody else, like just like you, just like you, just like you, because I went to plenty of shows with me and my girlfriend or me and my best friend, and we just tried to get a flip. But then I also now, I realized that that's my advantage in the industry because I talk directly to the consumer, and I'm not a fashion brand selling to a sneakerhead. I'm a sneakerhead representing all sneakerheads. So I feel like the furthest I go in this industry is gonna give that kid that just got his first pair of Bread Ones or his first pair of Panda Dunks that says, I'm gonna turn this into $1 million business and take over the world, and gives them hope.
Are there any advantages to working with a small brand rather than working with a giant one?
I think the biggest advantage of working with a small brand is they probably answer the phone for you faster than a big brand. Mm-hmm. Like a big brand may be like, hey, we'll call you next month, where like a small brand, they could make time for you once a week, or you could visit more frequently. Like some brands, they have a ton of people on the roster, where like a brand like Saucony, like it's very intimate. It feels like you and your homeboys working on something that really changes the game.
Okay, since your first release with Saucony, they all had stories. And right now, the Triumph 4, the collection is la colección completa está inspirada en las plantas que él ve todos los días mientras va a dejar a sus hijos a la escuela. The whole collection is inspired by the plants you see when you're taking your kids to school. Yeah. Have you seen anything in Mexico City that made you think that maybe you could use on a future collab?
Oh yes, definitely. I took some pictures of some buildings, some convenience stores that you got that we don't have in America. Mm-hmm. You never know. You may see some Mexico City J-Tip Savior stuff soon.
Wait, aquí lo dijo primero. What would you like for future generations to experience the way you experience the culture? What we call the culture.
To me, it's like go out and still have fun. I never be too serious. Like I still look forward to the moments that like a sneaker fever event would pop up on the calendar. Me and my friends would send each other the link to buy tickets, and really look forward to spending that time together. Like I want to encourage everybody that you can't skip steps. You gotta enjoy yourself, enjoy this process, because even where I am now, I work really, really hard in life just to have that feeling that I used to have when I was in a crowd, wanting it so bad, because it comes, like you really get what you want if you manifest it. So just be patient.
Manifest and work, that's the thing. You can't just manifest it, you gotta hustle it.
Yeah.
You gotta grind it every day. Okay, We've already talked about sneakers. We've already talked a little bit about caps. What would you really like for your next steps? What are Jay Tips' next steps? Because when a person is like one-dimensional, if you only did caps, we would only expect caps. But you already do caps. You do sneakers. What else does Jay Tips have in mind?
To me, is I want my future, like my next 2 years. I'm gonna give myself 2 years. Is I would love to open my own store. Like I would love to have like a Savior by Jay Tips store. I would love to have an experience. Even for the brands that I collaborate with, I would love to make it a bigger thing. Like I've probably designed 300, 400 New Era hats. It's time for me to finally like work with a team. Like now I want to design with the Yankees or design like the jerseys for All-Star Weekend or something like that. Like I want to be able to, like even for Saucony, like it's cool to see like Jay Tips collaboration, but now like I would love to like design a whole collection for them that's gonna release over the next year and just continue to grow, show people that like literally like my story is like a plant story and it's always about flowers. So how do you keep growing? How does the tree keep going? How does the branch keep growing? So to me it's just everything that I do, I just want to keep growing.
That's some heavy shit.
Yeah.
Okay, this year, and we can see it right now, hype used to be totally different. Yeah. You know, kids would line up to get a sneaker. Right now, the lines and all that shit that's going down there is because of the hats, for Dandy hats.
Yeah.
How do you, as a sneaker designer, prepare for that change? Because people are not lining up for every single drop.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for that?
Well, we've been lucky. They've lined up for all of our drops, but I think you just have to, like I said, you have to design something. Like to me, great design is problem solving. So I think if there's any future designers or designers in the crowd, look around at every single booth and realize what they don't have. Realize what every single hat, what colorway's not there, what logo's not there, what team they're not using. And to me, that's how you keep things going, because there's always going to be a need for what somebody is not already doing. So to me, I think that's when I design, I try to think like that, because even if my shoe doesn't come out for 2 years, I was still designing something that I don't see anybody else doing, so I got nothing to worry about.
We just saw you in Paris, Paris Fashion Week, presenting your latest drops. Did you ever think that streetwear would be in line with Paris Fashion Week?
Yeah, man. I used to watch like Kanye West and Virgil go to Paris, and it used to seem like unreal. But I knew that me and my friends, if we could be focused, that could be us. Like, and that's all that I ever like strive for. But now Paris seems like that's when you're gonna see every brand show new shoes. And you know, I've been lucky the last 2 years where my shoes is always the most popular ones that you see at Paris Fashion Week. So it's just crazy, man. I come from the Bronx, New York. Like, this is crazy to even be around. This is amazing.
And wait up, once you get to that level, I mean, you gotta think, okay, right now we're in Paris. What's gonna be next?
Yeah. To me, is as soon as you leak the shoe, as soon as like people go crazy for the shoe, now you gotta live up to the hype. Like, how are we releasing it? Where are we releasing it? How many pairs we selling? And when we gonna go live with it? So that's been the plan. The plan is Paris always like, it really, really energizes me. For now, it's time to put these shoes on everybody's feet, and I can't wait to see them.
People really wonder, because when you're playing with a brand like Saucony, and every single brand has their own champions, do you ever feel pressure? Like, I'm lifting a bunch of weight for this brand, I should go somewhere else?
I do feel the pressure. I feel like the pressure is very much deserved, though. I feel like every single shoe is like me proving that I belong in the industry, me proving that somebody that came from designer hats just is worthy of this opportunity. But I love the feeling, but it does feel like, you know, you have to hit a home run every single release, or people is gonna think, oh, the Saucony stuff is over, the J-Tip stuff is over, what else? Where other brands, sometimes a lot of shoes break. Like a lot of shoes don't go for as much money as another shoe in the same exact model. So I like the pressure. The pressure, I'm built off of it.
Pressure's always a good comparison point to see who's really doing it big. And I feel what you're saying, because the last drop by Joe Fresh Goods, the pink 992s, people didn't really receive them as well as the other models that he had. Do you ever feel like, man, the next one is probably going to be my last home run?
No, man. I feel like I do feel like people tell you, they be like, you can't be hot forever. You can't sell everything out. Everything's not going to be what it was. But I feel like that only applies to some people, because I feel like you always see Kanye shoes go for hype. You always see Virgil shoes go for hype, and you always see Michael Jordan shoes go for hype. So to me, it's like that's where I want to be. I don't want to be in no situation where people think like, oh, after the next one it may be over. Like, no, I want to keep surprising people, and I want to keep taking it to another level.
When you talk about level, where else in your career would you like to have that same level? Because I mean, in caps you've already captured it. In shoes, I think you're there also. What other things would you like to get on that level?
I would love to. I don't know if anybody sees this for me, but I would love to design at like a fashion brand. Like, I don't think now, but like kind of what Pharrell is doing now with like Louis Vuitton. Like, I think if I keep working hard and I keep putting my best foot forward, like eventually I can traject to design for a fashion house like that.
Really? Yeah. That is that, would you say that's like your next step, your goal?
I think that's just the path that I want to put myself on. I feel like we all have to start getting ready for the next job that we want. Like, you have to, if you want a social media job, you gotta go get your camera. If you want to be a sneakerhead, you got to go get all the apps on your phone. You want to be in media, you got to learn how to get your presence up. So me, it's like, if that's what I want, right now I'm just preparing myself to learn more about clothes, make more connections, and make better product, and keep traveling the world and seeing how I'm affecting people in so many ways.
Well, you have, I don't know how many people have your shoes on right now, but I bet you there's a bunch, at least. And there's not a single retail store that carries them. I mean, if people have them in their shoes, in their feet, I'm sorry, it's because they went through the hustle and they jumped those rings to get those shoes on their feet.
I appreciate it. That's why, Savior Worldwide, we ship worldwide to make sure everybody gets their shoes, and, and we got the most compared to anybody else. So always go SaviorWorldwide.com, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, let's go back a little towards inspiration. Being a Bronx kid and being New York such a multicultural place, did you ever have where did you take little pieces for inspiration?
To me, it's inspiration is, I think, a really talented visionary is. You find inspiration in everything. Like, I find inspiration in her t-shirt. I find inspiration in his t-shirt. I find inspiration in your hat. I find inspiration in just the way these brands are set up their booth. Like, I think you have to find, if you go to go buy a sandwich at the store, you gotta find some way for something to motivate you. And I think that's when I really learned how to design the way I design, because I take my kids to school and I find something that I got to take a picture of and go back to the computer and try to figure out how to understand how they did this, or how this sign looks like this, or how they made this and stuff. So I just think you have to find inspiration in all walks of your life, and not just at every cultural moment. Like, it's your life. Like, you might got inspiration at your grandma's house or your mom's house or anywhere, your old textbook from school. Like, you might find some inspiration.
And that's exactly where your storytelling comes from, right? Yeah. From living everyday life.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about, besides plants, what other concept are you going to develop?
To me, I'm looking more into different stories now. Actually, I do think that the Flowers Grow Uptown story, if you hear this now, the reason why there's 4 different colorways is they are different plants that that show you different forms of like growth through leaves, but the all green colorway is full growth. So what I feel like with the all green colorway is me graduating from the plant story, and also me showing you that I've grown to this point that now it's time for me to figure out something else. So to me, I just want people to wait and see like the stories that I continue to tell people.
I would really like, man, I don't want to get you in trouble, but have you ever thought about other companies to work with?
Yeah,
especially in the sneaker world, because you know everybody sees different things, and we would all wonder what J-Tips, a Nike SB J-Tips would look like.
No, of course. I would be lying to you if I didn't say like I would love to design a New Balance one day. I would love to design Asics. I would love to design a Nike. Who wouldn't? Even a Michael Jordan. Like I would love to see my name in those places, because that's the stuff I grew up on. Like I try to be honest with everybody. Like I didn't wear a Saucony until I started working with them. But I was honest with them. I said I would only design something that I love. And I was so happy that when I went to their office, I found something I love, and that created this relationship. And we started at one place and we grown to be so big.
You can really see an evolution in what you've designed with them. Yeah. You know, from the first one to what you're wearing right now. Have you ever thought about? The question is, you think about first aesthetics or functionality? What's more important? Does it have to fit right and feel right, or does it have to look good?
Man, it has to look good, man. Everybody wants to get fly. Everybody wants to wear the shoes to an event or out on a date or to hang out. But the one thing about like working with a company like Saucony is they're not like across as many categories as like a brand like Nike. Like Nike may have like boots, basketball shoes, soccer shoes, a lot of different things. With Saucony, most of the lifestyle shoes are retro running shoes, so most of them are comfortable. Like you already know the comfort part is down pat. So I'm pretty lucky at that. Like we're already starting knowing that the shoe's gonna be comfortable. Now we gotta find something that's gonna look good.
Are you ever afraid of people boxing you up in something? Like, man, that's all this can do.
Man, I'm not afraid of people boxing me up, because I think some of the best companies in the world, some of the greatest brands in the world, you can recognize from a mile away. So I see online sometimes people are like, oh, he makes purple shoes and pink shoes, and he always makes purple hats and pink hats. But I'm probably the only designer in the hat game and in the sneaker game where you're gonna know that's a J-Tips hat or shoe coming from a mile away. And I think that's my leverage in this whole industry.
As a hat king, I would say. Yeah. And I've always said it about your work. Do you design your caps to match with your sneakers? Do you already know how it's gonna go down?
To me, it's actually the other way around. I've been designing all my shoes to match hats that I've released before. Mm-hmm. So I think like people catch on, but a lot of my shoes with Saucony look like hats that I've dropped with Hat Club or with other stores, because I feel like I like to create those Easter eggs. Like I grew up watching movies and cartoons and Disney. Like I like for people to catch on to the Easter egg and be like, wow, I have that hat, now he made a shoe for it. Wow, I have this shirt, and now he made a hat to match. So I like to somehow create this universe of J-Tips.
Ya ven, yo les había dicho. I already told them, because every time we do a sneaker review by you, I'm like, he is matching this hat with this shoe. I knew it. Many of us when we were kids, we have a bunch of, you can't stop for ideas. You watch a movie, you watch a cartoon, you have a new idea, but you never have the means to take those ideas and make them physical. How do you keep those, and once you're grown up, you have the money and the means, but you don't have the ideas anymore. How do you keep that balance? Because you can see in your work, it's really playful, it's really youthful. How do you combine those?
Man, I feel like I feel like there's certain things that happen to us when we grow up. Like I feel like sometimes around like 11 years old or 13 years old, you're forced to kind of start acting mature, or you're forced to, you know, not be who you were as a kid because you want to fit in around your friends or fit in around school and you don't want people to make fun of you. To me, I think that's a part of our life that kind of like kills our ideas and kills our imagination and kills our like the way we just think larger than life. So to me, it's like what I do through clothes and through hats and through shoes is I try to revisit that kid that had to start growing up eventually, so he has a longer childhood. And I think that everybody in here, we have a person that we used to be before we had to start acting mature and being a parent, or being a boyfriend, being a girlfriend, a student, and whatever you are. Like, so it's like, to me, it's like I've just learned how to connect with that person that had those big ideas. Like, I may not tell you a story about my life right now, but I'm gonna tell you about something that affected me growing up. And to me, I just think this is so rich, it's so important.
And keeping it fun, because that's what I feel for every single piece you presented. It's always really fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not just about how I perceive it, but I mean how people perceive it and in the industry. Because, like you said, definitely what J-Tips does is, besides everything else, you can completely separate what J-Tips works on and what he doesn't work on. How many years? Because people think that everyone's an overnight celebrity. How many years did you hustle to get to where you are right now?
Man, I've been hustling since I would say I was in my last year of high school. I was 18 years old. That's when I put out my first mixtape, and I was selling CDs in the hallway. I feel like since then I've been trying to make something of myself. So to me, it's close to almost 16, 17 years of trying to be it took me 17 years to be somebody that people may have found out who was today. So that's how I look at it. I love when people first meet me. I love when people are like, oh, he's coming to my city, let me look into him. Mm-hmm. But that's how long it's taken me, and that's how long I've researched and learned and failed and succeeded and then failed again, and I gained the world and then lost the world and then got it back just so I could be here with you guys.
17 years in the game, yeah. That's, esa es una carrera completa para alguno de nosotros. Sometimes people think that things can change from today to tomorrow. Are you ready for any change? Because let me just rephrase that. How do you prepare yourself for something new tomorrow? Because I mean, new kids always have new ideas, and sometimes those ideas are even cooler than yours. How do you prepare for that?
To me, I prepare by, like, getting 8 hours of sleep. I feel like getting sleep, getting rest, taking care of yourself, doing the things you love, spending time with your family, spending time with your friends. To me, I think that recharges your soul. And I think when you recharge your soul, the sky's the limit. I think a lot of us, we carry the baggage that we carried from yesterday, from an argument or financial problems or life or whatever we're struggling with. But I think sometimes you have to let it all go for you to receive your new blessings. So whatever's next for me, I'm willing to accept it.
Okay, what about how many projects do you have ready right now? Because, like you said, 17 years of work. You gotta prepare yourself so when they call you up, you already have something ready for them. How many things do you have ready right now?
To me, I have a ton of stuff. I have so my next Saucony shoes are coming out at the end of the summer. I have a G-Shock coming. I have a jacket with Alpha Industries coming. I have a really big collection with New Era in the NBA coming for All-Star Weekend in February. I have a ton of stuff I'm working on. It never stops. Next month in New York, I'm gonna have a month-long pop-up. So if anybody wants to, get a flight, come visit me. I'll be in New York at a pop-up.
Nos vemos en Nueva York.
So the schedule is packed. I'm very blessed. I'm very happy. I used to pretend to be busy, and I'm extremely busy.
Escucha, sí, eso está cabrón. Okay, last thing. What's the importance of being there for your community? Because you can be an internet personality and absolutely nobody knows nothing about you. But what's important about putting your face on sneakers, putting your face on caps?
I feel like representation is everything. I feel like when you see somebody from where you're from, or you see somebody from your community do something, it motivates you. I feel like my first time I've been to California or Mexico or Europe is because I seen somebody that looked like me do it first. So I was like, I can do that. So I think representing your community is so important because you don't even realize how much you motivated your brother or your sister or your friend or your cousin because they see you traveling the world or just thinking outside the box to just do something for themselves. So, that's important to represent the community because you're a leader and you want to be a pillar and you want to continue to help the minds grow.
Right? Just want to say, I've repeated that a bunch of times to everyone because you can be in the audience today, but you never know who's going to be up here tomorrow. And that's how we started. We were back there in a conference thinking about what people were saying up here. And now I'm up here doing an interview with you. Thanks, man. Really, thank you. We really appreciate not just the time, but also your way of expression and being so open with us. We're going to take we have a couple of minutes. Tenemos unos minutitos para hacer preguntas del público. Me encantaría que alguien se animara a preguntarle. No siempre tenemos a alguien tan importante y con una trayectoria así. Si tienen una pregunta personal de su carrera o lo que sea, ahora es el momento de hacerla. Ahora es el... ok. Sí. A ver, con este. Te van a pasar el micrófono.
Back to the podcast question that you said you have the opportunity to collaboration with other brands. What kind of seal you use for that collaboration? For example, Nike or Adidas. Are you using four or one or I don't know?
Yeah, I think if I ever did anything with Nike, it would have to be Air Force One. I think Air Force One is just a staple. It's one of my favorite shoes ever. You said Adidas? And Adidas, if I ever worked on anything with Adidas, to me, I think they have a lot of good running shoes. So it'd be something similar to like what I work on with Saucony. Something that's like a future retro runner that's very, very like comfortable. So it'd be comfortable and mesh. I'll work on something like that.
Thank you very much.
You did make a couple of Nike by You Air Force Ones, right?
Yeah, so that's actually, I guess it's funny how my story works for design because I was making custom Nikes. That's how I got a chance to design hats. Me designing hats, I got an opportunity to design a real shoe with Saucony. So it's like it went like this.
And your work with designing pairs with Saucony took you to the All-Star game with the NBA with the Caps. It's like dribbling a ball.
Yeah.
What do you think, being from the Bronx and being from the United States, what do you think that makes hip-hop such an important part of street culture?
I feel like fashion and hip-hop is hand in hand. I feel like fashion gets a lot of its trends from hip-hop, which is street life and how we live our life on a daily basis and what we able to do with sometimes no money, able to still be fly and still push trends. And I feel like it's really hand in hand.
Ok, siguiente pregunta.
Hi, my man. Are you interested in making Mexico? I mean, something like this. Comes with the Mexico City. I don't know about that.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I'm gonna come back to Mexico City. I'm gonna do a pop-up. I promise.
And that's the answer to the question that was a while ago. What's the importance of being there for the community? Because sometimes, you know, you can see these big designers and they're like big stars and you never ever get to shake their hand. And that's totally different.
Yeah.
You know, I would say I'm a big fan, but once I talk to you right now, I'm an even bigger fan.
I appreciate that.
A ver, ¿alguien tiene otra por allá? Luego por acá.
To me is I definitely take notes. I think some of the best advice I can give anybody here is to take notes. I feel like our minds are muscles and machines, so sometimes we have great ideas and we forget it like that. So I think I try to, like I said, build a universe. So sometimes I may have a hat that's very, very very dope that I want to use on a, or idea I want to use on a hat, but it may look better on a shoe. So sometimes I try to do both and see which one works. To me, it's experimenting. It's just trying to see which one is going to be, you know, which one's going to work. You never know. Keep firing until something hits. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so then you don't separate the concepts. Like if you have a colorway that you think is pretty cool, you go, okay, let me try it on the shoe and let me try it on a hat at the same time.
Yeah, like my recent Saucony release was a hat club hat that I did for the Super Bowl in Arizona that I did a pop-up with them. And then I revisited the same colorway and now it's a whole different idea and it's called I Love You But I'm Busy. But the hat wasn't called that. So even though it's the same colorway, it was a different story. So it's like, to me, just keep thinking, keep trying to figure out ways to reinvent yourself.
Mixing and matching colors, man. Mixing and matching colors. A ver, ¿quién más? Por aquí había otra pregunta.
Hi, Jeff. Good afternoon. My question is what is the importance for you to be here on a bigger figure? And how do you read through your eyes, the Mexican market and the Mexican consumers? What do you think people are buying, or how do you see Mexican market?
It's very important for me to be here. I didn't know how much support I had here. I didn't know how much people supported me and wore my hats and wore my shoes. So to me, this is one of the best experiences I've ever had because I needed to be here to see you guys so I could come back and really represent you guys and give you guys some Savior J-Tips Mexico City flavor and show how much you mean to me. So I appreciate that.
That's like the most important part when people really come here, because you can see it through your Instagram and just likes don't mean shit.
Yeah.
But once you're here and you see all those people paying attention, maybe not all of them speak English, but they're here to listen to you. Yeah. Otra pregunta, de ese lado. Sí. The way you flow with your ideas, you make it look really easy. But have you ever felt like you're stuck on something?
Oh, every day, every single day, I'm stuck on trying to figure out how to do something different. Like right now, I'm designing hats for Complex Con. So right now, I'm trying to figure out what's the story? What's the color that I want to do? Do I want to make a lot? Do I want to make a little bit? Do I want to? So sometimes that's a very challenging way to think. But at the end of the day, I think when you're really good at what you do, you make things look easy. So you may look at me like, wow, he makes it look so easy, but I'm stressed out. So I'm happy that I make it look easy because I'm probably a little bit stressed out.
You look stressed at all, man. You don't look stressed at all. Tenemos una última, ¿tenemos otra pregunta? Sí, tenemos, sí. Sí, claro.
¿Qué tan importante crees que se ha vuelto el hecho de que marcas como Saucony, Millón, todas estas empiezan a trascender, se empiezan a mover más en el mercado y no, obviamente Jordan, Nike, Adidas siguen ahí, pero qué tan importante es para ti Saucony, Millón, estas nuevas marcas que se mueven en el mundo?
How important do you think is the new wave of sneakers? Because being a sneakerhead, you probably love Jordan 11s, 4s, 3s, 1s. But right now, New Balance, Saucony, Asics, they all have the flag. How important, how big, how game-changing is that for you?
I think it's very important, and I'm happy that I'm a part of it, because I do think that, like, if you think about stuff like this, Michael Jordan has been Michael Jordan for 40 years. And I think that he's still on top of the game. Think about like Air Max 95. That stands for 1995. So think about how long the sneaker game has been in this space where the same things just go like this, go like this,
over
go like
and
this.
over.
So I'm very happy to be a part of this industry where it's like, it's new thinkers, there's new Michael Jordans, there's new people that are leaders of the next generation. So I think it's very important because this is history. Like, we're writing history right now. Like, you know, if tomorrow I blow up and I'm the biggest person in the world, I hope, my fingers crossed, like, you guys are gonna remember you were here with me in Mexico City. So I appreciate that.
Tenemos tiempo para una pregunta más, si alguien más se quiere aventar. Ahí de ese lado.
¿Me da los pops?
Sí, güey.
Bueno, entendiendo y codificando que él tiene mucha inspiración en su infancia y todos los colores que ocupa son divertidos. ¿Existe la probabilidad de en un futuro un Jay más serio, más con colores un poquito más oscuros, ¿sabes? Que en su proceso, a lo largo, algún día tengamos un Jay distinto con lo que él puede hacer, pero con una evolución baja?
Jay, is there ever gonna be in your process, in your creative process, in your evolution, in your work, is there ever gonna be a black and white shoe or something with toned down colors?
Maybe. I think that, like I mentioned a little while ago, I think good design is problem solving. Like, if you look at like the way I design hats, I have plenty of black and white hats. I have plenty of Savior hats that's just one color. I think what Saucony is hiring me for, or what New Era is hiring me for, is how do you take this thing that has been historic for all these years and make it special? So if I ever come across a shoe that's already special, I can make it black and white, and then it's like it's already a nice thing. So I think to me is when I get to a shoe that the job is already done, then, you know, I'll give you something a little bit more toned down and a little bit more calm. Yeah.
En algún momento sí. Una última, ¿no? Tenemos. Mira, ahí hay una.
Hola.
Sí, claro.
¿Cuánto crees que dure esta tendencia, que es una tendencia de los usuarios urbanos? Ya pasamos de
How long do you think this wave of retro runners is going to last?
I think it's tough. I think it's really tough right now with the retro runners, because if you look at like Asics, like there's 1,000 colors that look the same. But I think it's all about the innovation. Like, how do the companies keep being creative, picking the right partner, working on like quantities and limited releases, and showing up at cultural events and doing booths and stuff. Like, I think as long as they continue to be a part of our community, they're here for a long time. But the moment that like things slow down and you see them disappear, people's gonna go right back to just wearing Travis Scotts and Air Force Ones every day. So, you know, we'll see.
Bien dicho, well said. It completely depends on us. It depends on everybody, everyone here, buying, selling those shoes. Okay, ¿ya estamos? Thank you very much, Jay Tips.
No, no problem, man. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I want to take a selfie with you guys. You know what I'm saying?
A ver, va a tomar un selfie. Pónganse todos, hagan